The following program is a production of WLRN.
And welcome to Perspectives. I'm your host, Judith Remeke. And joining me in the studio tonight from the Broward Republican Party is Clarence McKee. And from the Broward Democratic Party, Mitch Caesar. Thank you guys both so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We have a lot to get to, so let's get right to it. We just heard Professor Kevin Hill opening the show from Florida International University, talking about the historical pattern of a presidential election based on our economy. Gentlemen, is this the most important issue coming into this election as far as you're concerned?
I think it is without question. You know, you talk to the average person, not the bank executive or the corporate trader, and everybody's business is down, everybody's concerned, healthcare costs are going up. I think the economy, just like it was in '92.
Let me take off on that and let everyone know we did speak with a few students on the FIU campus where Professor Kevin Hill teaches about the election, and here's what was on their minds.
As far as I'm concerned, I think something that affects everybody right now is the state of the economy. So I definitely think that should be at the forefront of every political
I'll vote for anyone that gives me their, that presents their view in a coherent way. That's it. I don't think, Democrat, Republican, it's just a staple to get your money for your campaign. That's it.
Okay, gentlemen, we heard a couple of things in those comments. Any comments on the comments? One of the last people we heard in the Man on the Street interviews.
He had switched
over. Don't we have almost 25% of the state coming in as independent?
Well, it's a growing trend, and I think not only in Florida but all across the nation of independence becoming more and more of a factor.
I'll ask you both. Let's talk really quickly about Cuba. We hear Fidel Castro's resigning. What's the dynamic as far as Cuba and these candidates? What do they have to offer with regard to Cuba as it relates to South Florida?
Before you get into Cuba, I want to go back to what you said about Obama not coming into the state. When the Democratic Party and how we're deemed disenfranchised.
Well, let me speak to that, and I do appreciate the Republican Party giving the Democratic Party advice on how to govern itself.
You like that?
Family Matter is going to deter people from getting to the polls.
Let me ask you both something very quickly because we're about to run out of time. Who is the best candidate for Florida and why?
John McCain.
Who is the best presidential candidate who will benefit the state of Florida most based on our needs, especially in South Florida?
I think John McCain, definitely, because of his position on national security, his position as a fighter against with what's going on in Cuba now. We don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know what
the other two are talking about. Mr. Obama is talking nothing but air. We don't know what he stands for. We know where we are.
Again, the talking points have been all hit now. I don't think any have been missed in the presentation by my very good advocate. Obviously, both our Democratic candidates are excellent. They both have different strengths. We believe either one of them can win.
Will we be seeing all three of the front runners in the state of Florida campaigning earnestly, particularly on the Democratic side, as the months go by?
I think once our nominee is chosen, there's no question that our nominee will be in Florida many, many times for the reasons we both talked about. I still say that Florida is the ultimate swing state, and therefore either party that doesn't put all their efforts into it does so at its own peril. And if that is the case, then it's once again the toothpaste wasn't as advertised.
All right, the jury's still out, and I thank you so much both. We did, I think, a good job of squeezing a ton of stuff into 30 minutes. Thanks everyone for joining us, and good night.
The preceding program was a production of WLRN Public Television.